Hey Bremerton, Josh Farley with the Kitsap Sun in the Roxy Theater with my editor David Nelson. And David, we've got something kind of cool coming up this fall.
We do. There's county, state, and national elections that are really going to matter in this community. In addition, the Kitsap Sun's going to host a special event right here at the Roxy in October, and I'm going to tell you more about that.
All right, how many stories total are we offering the folks at home?
This week we're going to have 5 things that you need to know about the election.
All right, stay tuned, Bremerton.
This week's episode is all about elections, so I started out at the Kitsap County Administration Building where I'm talking to Dolores Gilmore, our county auditor for the past 4 years. Dolores has worked in elections for more than 30 years, so she's seen a lot of changes. I'm going to ask her about those changes, talk about voter turnout, and ask how you can be sure your ballots are counted fairly, accurately, and securely.
When I first started in elections way back in the 80s, we were polling locations at that time. So oftentimes in a primary we would get much lower turnout in primary. Other elections, of course, it would always peak with midterm or presidential, could stay the same. And then the last several years, like 6 years ago, we've seen sort of a drop-off of voter turnout. And then with this last primary, we're seeing that peak up again. So we've tried to make voting easier and more accessible for people because they have to look at, it takes time, being able to read up on what's there. Is it worth it to vote? Do they think their vote's going to make a difference? All of these things make a difference on whether there's turnout and how easy and accessible it is. We all have busy lives and we have families and whatever, so that's part of the history. You can see the change in Kitsap County from just polling locations when to try to get an absentee ballot you had to have a reason for that and you had to send in a request each time. For that to, once we made absentee ballots ongoing requests and then moved on to vote by mail, that's made a huge difference.
One thing voters should be aware of this year is that you will not have to put a stamp on your ballot. You're going to get it in the mail, you can fill it out, cast your vote, and just drop it back in. That's because a statewide initiative is going to spend about $2 million to make sure there's no postage charged to anyone in order to vote. 23rd District Representative Drew Hansen sponsored a similar bill last session that would make that a permanent change. It didn't pass, but he tells me he's going to try again because he thinks it will encourage voter participation.
This started last year because I think voting should be easy and it should be simple and it should be free. And in my house, I don't even know where the stamps are. Usually we drop off ballots at the ballot box to save the money. I think some of my millennial staffers don't even know what a stamp is. So, I mean, just take away that barrier, right? The little barriers matter, just make it straightforward. So I'd love to see our voter turnout be 100%, right? I mean, I want everyone who is eligible to vote to cast a ballot. So whatever we can do to make that easier for people, to make their voice heard, that's something I'm in favor of doing.
Now I'm in the County Administration Building. This is the ballot processing room where all of the ballots get counted on election day. Right next to me is the ballot sorter, the machine that every paper ballot will go through to help the county add up the totals. I talked with Dolores more about the security measures in place and how they make sure they get an accurate and fair count.
We're working with the Washington State Association of County Auditors and the Secretary of State to ensure that voter registration rolls, there's not any hacking going on. They monitor that. So there's a whole set of check and balances that are done on the IT side for online registration and to make sure that there isn't anything going on. If there is, that we can identify it. The tabulation is never hooked to any internet or outside computers, so you can't hack it.
The League of Women Voters is a name that everyone hears around election time. So I'm sitting here with Robin Muir on National Voter Registration Day. Robin's going to tell us a little bit more about what the League does to educate people and get them out to vote.
The League of Women Voters has been around since I believe the 1920s, and it was an organization started to educate women about voting, and we like to now educate the public. We have candidate forums, we do forums on the ballot initiatives. We have several of those events coming up soon in the Kitsap area.
National Voter Registration Day was on September 25th, so you missed that one, but keep in mind that there are a couple deadlines coming up. If you want to register online or by mail, you have to do so by October 8th. And if you want to register in person, you can do so up until October 29th. And you can do that at the Kitsap County Courthouse in Port Orchard. Now, for the Silver City Taproom, what's on tap? On Monday, October 22nd, the Kitsap Sun and Roxy Theater are gonna host a political forum for candidates in the 26th district. At 6:30 p.m., we will have candidates, all 6 candidates. There are 2 House races, 1 Senate seat. They're some of the most tightly contested in the entire state, and so it's gonna be a great night. I will be moderating, and it's gonna be a free event. We invite everyone to come and join us for that. Thanks to Josh for letting me help out with the Beat Blast this week, and enjoy your week, Bremerton.
Fast asleep on a soft burgundy quilt. Pleased to know I raised them quite oblivious to any sense of guilt.